Hello to each one of you and happy Valentine's Day. I am Reverend Kenneth L. Watson, and I would like to welcome you to our annual Black Love virtual event, which is a youth and young adult production here at the First Baptist Church of Salisbury, Maryland. If you are watching with us via our Facebook page, make sure you share this experience with your family and your friends, because I assure you, they are not going to want to miss this. Likewise, if you are watching via our YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified of any services going on here at First Baptist Church. Listen, I can't wait for you to experience what we have planned for you this evening. You are about to see several married couples from our church as they share with you such things as how they met, how they proposed, how they knew they were ready for marriage. They will discuss ways in which they are able to balance each other out. And they will also share with us a few tips on what it takes to have a successful marriage. Trust me, you are about to laugh. You are about to smile. You are about to hear words of insightful wisdom. And in addition to those conversations from our married couples, we will also be joined by a special guest artist, Mr. Tamba Giles. So I encourage you, sit back and enjoy the show. I'll see you soon. How long have you been married?
We've been married for almost 39 and a half years. September will be 40 years for us. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Okay.
How did you meet?
I'll let her answer that.
Well, at age 13, I moved with my parents into Mercer's neighborhood. What I understand from him years later was he had arranged, like an arranged marriage, that I would be his girlfriend, and everyone else was not allowed to talk to me because he had chosen me to be his girlfriend. And that's pretty much how it went.
Pretty much. She moved into the neighborhood, our neighborhood, so I just let the fellas know, no, she's off limits.
How did you propose?
I was young. We were young. Marty had just graduated from college. I proposed to Renita after her first graduation, her nursing school graduation. Old Dominion, she graduated from Norfolk General Hospital, and we were there for the graduation. And that night, I'd already bought the ring, and I proposed to her that night. Had I been a little younger, I might have done things a little differently, but I didn't know about all the fancy stuff then, you know. But that's the way it happened.
How did you know that you wanted to marry her? And how did you know that you were ready to be married to him?
You go first.
Well, after being betrothed to him as a teenager, we were high school sweethearts, and we continued that relationship. And just being with each other and growing together, it was like we are meant to be.
Same thing. When you find that special person, I think that you know, not immediately, it takes time, but as Renita just said, we grew together. High school sweethearts, you know, Beauty and the Beast, she the Beauty and the Beast, or, you know,
we change roles as we need to.
That's but basically that's, she was a high school cheerleader, I'm a high school athlete, and we stayed together through high school, through college, and we just knew we were right for each other.
For both of you, what is your favorite Valentine's Day moment, favorite anniversary moment, or maybe a favorite date?
Favorite anniversary moment, we both believe is our favorite, is our 30th anniversary.
Yes.
Our children had planned a surprise anniversary party for us. The surprise was almost on them because we were busy doing some other things, and we're like, we're not going to that. We can see whatever was happening. We can go there another time. So we almost didn't get there. But we are glad that someone spoke to us and said, you need to go there. We still didn't know exactly what was happening, but the event that we were told it was, why don't you go on and go? So that was one of our better moments.
Yeah. To elaborate a little bit, we were working on a house. We were painting. It was a Saturday, and our children, Marnique, our oldest, said, well, Rodney, her husband, has a concert, and we'd really like for you guys to be there. That's how they set us up, so they thought. Well, they had all these people at the venue. They were already there. Me and Renita were in paint clothes, working, dirty. My brother comes over, said, man, y'all not going to Rodney's thing? I said, man, I ain't going to Rodney's thing. Rodney had plenty of things, and I'll catch him next time. He'll understand. I kept right on painting and doing what I was doing. He was pacing. I was like, man, what's wrong with you? Grab a paintbrush or something, right? Well, then he said, Merk, you got to go. I said, I don't have to go anywhere. So then he said, you need to go. You need to go home, change clothes, and go. So then we did. We were probably an hour late for our own anniversary party. That's how it happened. That has to be a favorite.
Yeah, and I was trying to be diplomatic about it, not telling our daughter and son-in-law, like, we're not going. But anyhow, he's put it out there now. That is the true story.
In what ways are you the same? Maybe what ways are you different? How are you able to balance each other out?
I'll start with that. I am a very, what's that word you call me, Manita? Me and Marasha.
OCD, like obsessive compulsive disorder symptoms and traits, things like that.
Yeah. I have that trait, and everything has to be in order for me, and sometimes that drives my wife crazy. Just the other day in the office, I said, Marty, this light switch, dual switches, one on each side of the room, and off is a down position, on is an up position. I'm like, yeah, I know you left that in the wrong position, but I fixed it.
And for me, that is not something that's an issue for me. I flip it on whatever side of the room I'm on, and it's okay. But now that I know that, I might flip it opposite a little bit more if I need to for any particular reason. To upset that apple cart.
She doesn't have that OCD that I have. I think that's the way we differ. But,
how are you able to balance each other?
Communication.
Yes. Sometimes verbal and nonverbal communication helps balance us both. Just the look from one or the other. Sometimes the looks you can give your children, you have a tendency to look at each other some ways. You're like, okay, let me reel it back in. And another thing that balances both of us and is also something that makes us alike is our love for God and
that's what I was going to say.
Beliefs. I mean, we believe we have to have the same Christian values and belief in the household to be able to be joined and share that with our children and family.
Absolutely.
We have to be yoked, not unyoked in that area.
Well spoken. You took the words out of my mouth.
Because I think for you sometimes.
Yeah, you do.
Any other best tips for a successful marriage?
I've got some, a few actually. First, trust and believe in God. That's most importantly, as Monita just said. But for me, it took me a very long time to learn how to properly communicate with my wife, as well as we had to learn how to disagree, argue, fight, whatever you want to call it. We had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to do that. Once you learn that you can disagree and still come to a common point, then that's key for me. Because once you say things out of your mouth, you can't take them back, and sometimes they can be pretty sharp. So I think communication, learning how, trusting. You have to trust and believe. I've in my younger years, I early in my career, I traveled a lot. And, I traveled a lot. I traveled months at a time away from my family. So I have to trust and believe, that everything is okay. And my wife has to trust in me, and that's some advice for younger couples. Never give up. If you love them, never give up on them.
One thing I would add to that is we're told never to let the sun go down on anger, and we're not perfect, and this hasn't been our practice all the time, but in the later years we have been able to do that more because of communication and growing together older. But one thing I can say is, if someone cannot do that, hopefully you have another place in your home that you can go lay your head for that night. Don't leave home. Just stay home and go sleep somewhere else. And when the sun comes up, if you were meant to be, you still love each other. That doesn't change anything. You're human. You can begin again. It's a new day.
How long have you been married?
We have been married for 18 years this April. Yeah.
How did you meet?
Well, we met through my mom. My mom knew James before I did. And my daughter and I had come from church one afternoon to go see my mom at her job. And while we were there, she wanted me to meet this handsome man. So it was all fine. And so we met, and it was just a small introduction. And so afterwards, he, of course, at the time, me going through transition, I was staying at my mom's, he would call. And I was just not in the mood to be bothered, but he was persistent. And I couldn't not answer the phone because I didn't know who it was, because my mom didn't have caller ID. So he would call and call and call. And so we finally agreed that we would go out. So we decided, okay, we would go out and have dinner. And so this was really it was before Valentine's Day. It was about a month or so before Valentine's Day. And so he still was persistent even after that first dinner, that he wanted to call more and more and go out. And I'm like, I really don't want to be bothered, not at this time. It wasn't because I was being judgmental, but I was just in a bad mood. It didn't matter whether he was rich or poor or handsome or ugly or whatever. I'm like, I don't want to be bothered. But no, he was just determined. And so we went out again. I'm like, okay, he is really persistent. And so it was getting near Valentine's Day. This is why Valentine's Day is always so important to us and special. So we finally decided we would see one another on Valentine's Day. But unfortunately, On that particular Valentine's Day, it was on a Saturday, it was a very, very bad snowstorm. And I'm at my mom's, and so I'm like, he is not going to show up in this storm. It was, I know, at least about 7 or 8 feet of snow. And behold, it was like about getting close to dark. The roads had not been cleared, and I'm like, I know he's not going to come. But lo and behold, I heard this truck. And I'm like, that must be the snowplow. And no, and it came in our yard. And I'm like, and I looked outside, and lo and behold, that was James. I'm like, I can't believe he did this. And all of this snow, and it was still snowing. And I'm like, he really is persistent. And so he came in with this little teddy bear. It was a cute little red and white teddy bear with a card and a little flower. And I'm like, okay, girl, you better get your act together. Anybody come through all of this snow, and it's still snowing, and you thinking it's the people that are scraping the snow off the road, and this is James. And so from that moment, I realized that I need to have an attitude shift. And it took me a while, you know, I just had to realize that not everybody is mean and will hurt. And so I had to kind of let my wall down, but it took a while. So afterwards, we started just seeing one another on a regular basis. And so I remember one instance that really got me thinking that this is really a good man. And he is. When he told me, he said, I don't want you to worry about anything. Let me do all the worrying. And so that kind of, after some months, that won me over and had me to take an inventory of my attitude and my perspective of relationships, and to see that he is really a man of his word. And from there, you know, we just kept seeing each other and growing, and we got married. And it wasn't because he proposed to me. I just told him, we are going to get married. And we did on such and such a date. I did. I told him. I set the date. I never gave him a chance to get on his knees. I did. I just told him, you know, because it had been a while, and I just wanted to go on and just live life. And so I am so thankful to this day. I really am, that God has truly blessed us with a wonderful marriage. And I am speaking from my heart. There's been a lot of hills and mountains, and we've had a lot of trials, but we have learned through those trials and all of the mountains that we had to climb and all of the challenges. We have learned that all of that has just made us stronger, and we learn to know of one another more and more, our ways. We have differences, yes, but we have learned through all of the pain and the disappointments and the troubles that we've had. It has just strengthened us. And most of all, we have grown to be more humbler in our love for one another by acknowledging and recognizing, as we have spiritually grown, we see God in everything. And we see his working in us, even during the times when we have fallen, times that we've made mistakes, during the times that we have conflicts, because not all the time do you always agree, but we always come together and to respect one another and to love one another, and to be reminded that Valentine's Day is a day that not only do we share the traditional gifts, but it's a day that I recall for me, a day to be reflected on my attitude change. Had I not changed my attitude, I don't think we would have been here together today, but by his persistence and consistently calling and calling and calling and coming through all of that snow. And I'm like, anybody in their right mind is not going to do that. And so we today really have had more of the good times than bad times. And the bad times really has been a learning for us, a growing, a spiritually maturing. And so today we truly can say that we have peace. And one key thing about love is that it's an action. It's visible. It's tangible. You just don't say, I love you, and not show it. You know, you show it in appreciating one another. You show your love in the way you talk to one another. You never make another person or each other, we never do that, make each other be belittled. But we always have a compliment, or we always say, you know, I love you and I thank God for you. And it keeps the marriage strong. It keeps us focused on no matter what comes our way, as my husband often says, we know that God is with us, because we often talk about how we have grown, and it had not been for God on our side through all the mountains and the valleys and sicknesses and all of the pain, we wouldn't be here today. But we have grown to know that no matter how long we have been married, you still treat that person like they are, and we are the most important to one another. You don't put anyone before your wife. You don't put anyone before your husband. We are protective of one another. We care for one another, and we try our best to find time to laugh. You know, it doesn't matter how long. You know, I'm the type of person, I love to laugh, and sometimes I have to get him to lighten up. He loves to work, which is fine. And a lot of times he's serious, and I have to kind of, come on, just lighten up a little bit. It's okay. I like to play. I like to dance. I like to do joyful things to keep the marriage, you know, not to be so dull and boring. And one thing I love to do, and to remind him too, that, you know, no matter how long we've been married, we always try to look good for one another. I don't have to go out of the house to put on a little bit of makeup or to comb my hair. I like to look good for my husband when he comes home. I don't want to think just because now that we're married that I can walk around the house with my hair tied up and bedroom shoes on all day and walking around in slippers or my gown. But to keep that marriage fresh, to keep it where he want to look at me more than just once, you know. And it is important that we do that. We keep pride. Make, you know, don't just let yourself go, but you just be there for one another, and be there when we need to talk to one another. And that's another important thing with us, is how we talk and communicate. And it's that effective communication. Are you listening to me? Did you hear me? Do you know what I'm talking about? We understand one another. Sometimes he may not even say anything. I know something is wrong. And this is how close we have continuously gotten. I know I can look at his eyes, and when he starts blinking his eyes, is constantly blinking and blinking and blinking, something is wrong. Someone has made him angry. And I'm like, okay, what has gone on now? And it's just that you get to know we know one another without even having to say a word. I can tell the way he walks is something is not right. Someone has said something to him, and he's gotten twisted today. So, okay, I have to choose my words and make sure that I don't say the wrong thing. But we have just grown so much spiritually. It's another key thing with us. We have grown, no matter what goes on, we know that it's only by the grace of God that we're here, because sometimes I'm not the easiest and he's not the easiest. And we have to do a lot of praying. And so with our spiritual growth, this has helped us to have a healthy marriage. You can be married, but are you happy? Do you have that inner peace? And I must say that we have that inner peace. And it's that feeling of, I know that I have a wonderful husband. We don't always get it right. I don't, he don't. We may have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 knockdown dragouts, but we come together. And so we're thankful that we can do that, and we see that growth in us. And like I said earlier, we've learned through our growing spiritually, we see God in everything, and we can look back now and see that everything has worked together. No matter what we have gone through, all of the trials that we have had, and we're going to have them, but we've learned to use them because they have strengthened us. All of, the betrayals and all of the failures, all of this has taught us many lessons, and it has just made us closer, and we just love and we know what it is to say thank you. We know what it is to say I'm sorry. And that's something that I find that can be kind of hard for my husband, is to say I'm sorry. And so we've learned to know that you've got to be a person to say, if you're sorry, to say, I'm sorry. It makes a difference. Forgive me. We have learned to forgive and not to hold grudges or to be belittling one another. And so it's just that growing. And though we've been married 18 years, we're still growing. But it's a growing where we're happy, not because we may have a boat or a Bentley and all of that material things. That's not making us happy. I'm happy because I have a good husband that I know loves me. He shows that to me, and he thanks God for that. It's that inner peace that no matter what we have gone through and what we go through, we are partners. We are husband and we are wife together. And we are best friends. And it's just a love that's different now than what it was when we first met. I mean, when you first meet, it's that kind of giggling, silly kind of thing. But this is serious. This is something that, that you will fight for, because we've been through so much and we don't take anything for granted. And we are some grateful people. We are too grateful, so grateful, too grateful couple that know what it is to have the grace of God over our lives. And we would not be here today had it not been for the grace of God. And we always have but God, praise, a but God. And so we're thankful, and we just, Valentine's Day is a day that we love. It's a special day, but it's a day that we celebrate the spirit of Valentine's Day every day. Through the ups and the downs, we still love one another, whether we're, going through or not. And we always remember, never leave one another before we leave for the day without a kiss. We have to have that kiss. And there's been a time And it was last year when he left the house and he did not give me my kiss. And I called him very upset. I don't know how many miles he was down the road, but he turned around, came back, and gave me my kiss. So we have to have that kiss before we depart, and we have to have that kiss before we go to sleep. This is a part of our relationship that we have practiced, and it means a lot to us. You know, no matter whether we're angry or not, we have to have that. It's a touchy, and I'm a touchy person. I love to hug. I love to just touch, and it's good to get a spontaneous hug. So we never allow the marriage to go stale just because we've been married for X number of years. You have to do something to keep it alive. And we enjoy being with one another. And it's not because we're traveling. We travel, yes. We've been on a few cruises, and we take our, 3 or 4 times a year. Last year it was 1, 2, 3. We took 3 1-week vacation, or we take getaways. We enjoy those things. We enjoy being with our families, which is very important. We enjoy spending time with just down-to-earth people. You know, we're not bougie and have to have all of the fancy frills and everything, but we just love to laugh and to fellowship and to give and to help and to encourage. This gives us joy because we are so much alike in doing that. And so we're very grateful. We're so grateful that we are still here, and we thank God for our love. And we just keep on loving and being grateful.
Well, well said, Mrs. Townsend. Let the church say amen.
Amen.
Is there anything at all, Mr. Townsend, that you would like to quickly add to that?
No, a marriage is something that you have to do the best you can. Try to continue to do what you did when you started courting, when you started running. It's one of those things. If 2 people would do that, you don't have a chance to look. It's you have to, most important thing is, as she said, respect. She buys good perfume, smell, whatever it costs. I do the same. And that's to make it sharp. You have to. It's something that you continue to show that respect. Open that door and get that kiss. Some of the same things she said is you have to in order to keep a marriage. It's hard. It's hard out here.
Yes.
People 25, 30, 40 years ago, you have to wink your eye. Both sides, women and men now, they don't wait for you. They'll come right to you. The men saying. So to make it short, it's a working thing. No question about it.
Yes, it is.
How long have you been married?
It'll be 44 years, September 2nd of this year.
How did you meet?
We met on the campus of Lincoln University in the summer of 1974.
How did you propose?
Well, it wasn't really a proposal. After we got back together in 1977, when Debbie came back from France, we got back together, and I just said to her before Thanksgiving, I said, we're going to get married. And I showed up with an engagement ring at Christmas. And I asked her to marry me, and that was about it. And she said she would.
How did you both know that you were ready?
It was funny. We met and then separated because I ended up studying abroad And then after I came back, things seemed to just click between us, and we just knew it was right that the relationship had rekindled itself.
She's right. She's right.
What is your favorite Valentine's Day moment, or favorite anniversary moment, or favorite date?
I guess our favorite anniversary moment was after being married a year. We went to a restaurant in Ocean City called the French Connection to
Reflections.
called Reflections, to celebrate our first wedding anniversary, and they had a French menu. So I think that was one of the best anniversary dates that we had.
Okay. In what ways are you the same? Maybe what ways are you different? And how do you kind of balance each other out in marriage?
Well, there's some points that we review quite a bit, and one of the points is being friends. We have to remember that we are friends no matter what happens, no matter what's said, no matter what the issue is that we're always friends. And we learned through trial and error that we have to have the ability to agree to disagree. We understand that in every marriage there's going to be conflict, there's going to be disagreements, but what we have to understand is that we're friends. And we had to learn that you had to agree to disagree sometimes, and just let things be what they are. You can't stifle out someone else's feelings or someone else's opinions. The only thing you can do is maybe listen to them. And even if you don't agree, at least let them say whatever it is they want to say. And then you try to move further from there.
I think one of the most important things is that you have to be willing to communicate. Communication is the key. If you don't communicate, you don't know what the other person is thinking. Your partner is not a mind reader, so you have to verbalize your thoughts and your feelings and make them known.
A lot of times you have to be respectful and honest. And being respectful means that you can't void out someone else's feelings just because you don't feel the same way that they do. And you have to respect their feelings. And then you have to make those feelings credible, not only to the relationship, but also to the conversation. And you have to have the courage to be honest about how you feel. No matter how you feel, no matter how you think the other person is going to kind of take it, you have to express it the best way that you know how.
What other best tips do you have for a successful marriage?
One thing that I am big on is you have to be kind and sensitive with your speech. That's very important because it's not always what you say, but also how you say things. So being kind and sensitive is paramount. Because marriage is hard. It's hard work, and it's not easy. So it takes a lot of giving of yourself and putting yourself in the other person's shoes, how you're making that person feel.
And one thing we found too is that there was an old adage that said opposites attract. I don't believe that. And I've never believed that, because If Debbie's ideas and interests were so far from mine, I don't think we'd be able to get along. I think what it is that because she and I have the same interests in different things, it helps us to move along in our relationship. Once we found out very on, even when we were in college, we both had religious foundations. I mean, we both, loved the Lord, and we were both used to going to church. We were used to going to teachings. That helped our relationship back then, and it has always been a constant in our relationship, even after
43 years.
43 years.
What else do you guys have anything else to add?
That it's important that you pray for your partner as well. Praying for each other is very important. That's putting God in the center of your relationship. And by doing all of these things, you're showing true love. This helps to build the faith and trust in your partner, and this gives a solid foundation to your relationship.
And I just wanted to add this, is that you have to let your partner know that you appreciate what she's doing and what she's done. And it's not always buying things, it's not always saying it, but it's how you treat them that makes the difference. I'll leave it like that.
Anything else?
No, we good. We still in love.
Good evening. My name is Tamba Giles, and I want to thank the First Baptist Church of Salisbury, Maryland, for this invitation as I take you down memory lane. We're going to go back and sing some of the songs of Luther Vandross. So I want you to get comfortable wherever you are. I want you to hit the dance floor, if you can, in your house, whatever you got to do. We've come to have a good party tonight, all right? Thank you. Let's get started. Skippity dippity dee 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 dee. Twiddly dee, twiddly dee, twiddly dee. Dee 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 dee. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Skippity dippity dee 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 dee. Twiddly dee, twiddly dee, twiddly dee. Dee 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 dee. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go back the road, everybody. Move all the tables and chairs. We're gonna have us a good time tonight. Yeah, 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 yeah. Every time that we leave, we skip and we dip to the beat, yeah. What in the world could be better than getting together again? The last time we had a party, it ended when the sun came. And that's when your mama told you that you couldn't go out, just stay in the house. Ooh, you're a bad boy. He's gonna sneak out tonight. He's gonna tip by her window, 'cause he sure wants to get out and dance. Everyone's here late in the morning. The chandelier downstairs is falling. And I know it's hard to resist, but this is the party no one wanted to miss. If you don't get home on the double, you're going to be in trouble. And I hope your mama don't look in your room, 'cause if she does, she'll be here soon. She's gonna be mad you're a bad boy and you got it bad. Say goodbye to your friends, 'cause it's gonna be a while till you see them again. Ooh, your bad boy, he's gonna sneak out tonight. He's gonna tip by her window, 'cause he sure wants to get out and dance. Come on, y'all jitterbugs, come on. Everybody swinging, dancing to the music on the radio, having a party. Everybody's singing, dancing to the music on the radio. You can't go. Your bad boy, he's gonna sneak out tonight. He's gonna tip by her window, 'cause he sure wants to get out and dance. Come on, y'all ready to party? Come on. Everybody swinging, yeah, dancing to the music on the radio, having a party. Everybody's singing, dancing to the music on the radio. You can't go. Your bad boy or girl, he's gonna sneak out tonight. She's gonna tip by her window, 'cause she sure wants to get out and dance, 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 dance. Your bad boy, she's gonna sneak out tonight. She's gonna tip by her window, 'cause she sure wants to get out and dance, dance, dance. Skippity dippity dippity dee, yeah. Skippity dippity dippity dee, yeah. Skippity dippity dippity dee, yeah, 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 yeah. You bad boy, bad boy, bad boy. He's gonna sneak out tonight. He's gonna tip by her window, 'cause she sure wants to get out and dance. Yeah. Bad boy, yeah. What are those bad boys out there?
I'm back. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this event thus far. But before we continue, on behalf of the Youth and Young Adults Ministry here at First Baptist, we would like to pause and thank each of you for joining with us on tonight as we celebrate Black love. It was our desire to provide you with some laughter and entertainment that you could enjoy from the safety of your own homes. We would also like to thank all of the couples who have shared, and also a special thanks to Mr. Tamba Giles. I hope this has been a great date night for each one of you, whether you are single or whether you are married. But as we all know, when you go out on a date, it costs something. Dating is not cheap. In 2022, date nights can be expensive, which is why on tonight, if you are able, we are asking for a special gift of at least $10 from you, which is a bargain for the entertainment that you have been provided tonight, because you cannot go anywhere for $10. So let's be a blessing to the Youth and Young Adult Ministry here at FBC. And there are various ways in which you can give. It can be done through e-giving, through our website. You can use Givelify. You can text to give. You can drop it off at the church, or you can mail it into the church. And when you give, I ask if you could designate your gift with the words Black love. Again, when you give, please designate it with the words Black love. We thank you and greatly appreciate your generosity. Let's pray. God, we thank you for gift and giver. In Jesus' name we pray. May the saints of God say amen. I'm out. Enjoy the rest of the show. How long have you been married?
I've been married a little over 4 years. This year will be 5 years.
He's been married that long. I've been married for that. We have been married, correct, as he stated, over 4 years.
How did you meet?
Well, we met at the Black Caucus in Washington, D.C. And I was there to meet a friend. I was talking online for 3 months, and she wanted to see me. But Renee, I was waiting, and Renee happened to come into my presence, and she said she saw my shoe moving back and forth, and she asked me a question about, is that terrible when you get gum beneath your shoe? I said, no, I don't have gum beneath my shoe. And that's how we started to talk. And I think she asked me, do you have, any stores nearby or something of that nature? And I said, well, I got fruit in my car, and I gave her a banana. And she informed me how you're supposed to peel a banana. I've been doing it the right way. She said, this is the correct way to do it, which you peeled it from the back side of it. And I said, oh, okay. And that's how we met. And then the next day, I was telling her that I was getting ready for 8th Street Day, and which was the next day, because every year we have 8th Street Day, over 10,000
Festival. DC.
Yeah. And she showed up. And the first thing I said to her, hey, stranger.
That's pretty much, yes. Yeah. It was food that brought us together. When I kind of look at the underlying factor, it was a banana that brought us together.
How did he propose?
Oh, he did 5 stars, A+, the day after Christmas, and he said there was a present underneath the tree that was unopened. And I'm like, oh, it sure is. So I opened it up, and it was a pair of socks. He said, but there's something else in there. So it was a key.
Inside the sock.
Inside the sock, thank you. And it said on the little tag, look for Gary. I didn't know who Gary was, but to make a long story short, too late, Gary was a safe. I opened up the safe, and were all these cut up pieces of papers with letters written on them. So it ended up like a Soul Train scramble. I had put them on the floor, and I had to try to figure out what it was saying. And I was taking so long. He was sitting there with the Jeopardy song, doo 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 doo. Anyway, so I'm getting the letters, and I saw Mary, and then I saw Will, and I got the letters together for you, and then I saw Mary, and then me. So I put the letters all together, and I'm looking at them on the floor, and I read it. I said, oh, okay, will you marry me? And it didn't really dawn on me that was a proposal. I was so excited that I got the puzzle completed. I said, oh, will you marry me? And then when I realized it was a proposal, I turned to him, and he was down on one knee and had the Tiffany jewelry box lid open up. And I did cry. I thought that was something for Hallmark, because he was so creative, took the time and cut out all the little letters. So that's how he proposed. I started screaming. My grandson ran in. What's wrong, my mom? It was a very romantic, very thoughtful proposal.
How did you know that she was the one, and vice versa?
Well, as I stated earlier, I was there to meet someone else, and it didn't materialize. Mm-hmm. And Renee came into my life the next day, and from that point on, we was kind of joined into the hip. Right. And we talked every day. Every day. And this grew into something God that was meant to be.
Correct. Remember about the aura. He told me there was an aura around my head. So I think it was a God-sent aura. But I truly believe that we were sent into each other's lives to help each other, complement one another.
Yes.
So what is your favorite Valentine's Day moment, or favorite anniversary moment, or favorite date?
Well, we didn't. Our Valentine's Day was kind of normal. We just had the candy, the flowers. But our anniversary was 2018. We went to Fort Lauderdale. We had a magnificent time in Fort Lauderdale during our first anniversary. I mean, every day was excitement. I'm a nature man, so we were able to go see alligators, and she was afraid. I'm in my element. And it was nice, and for me, I enjoyed that, and that was one of the things that stood out that first year anniversary. And during that period of time, I had just opened a business, and I didn't see where I could even go. And we made time, and I'm glad I did make that decision to go, and we have a wonderful time in Fort Lauderdale.
I would say the best is yet to come because we're practically still newlyweds, 4 years. So we're looking for bigger and better things. I am.
with all of your similarities and if you have any potential differences, how are you able to balance each other?
Well, I think we come from different backgrounds. I think we have to compromise. And I think that's been one of the true factors that help us get through our day, our life, just compromising and understand that we do come from two backgrounds. And the thing is, there's an intertwining that's always continue to happen. So we can look at each other and just basically come together as one. So that's the thing that we always know, to compromise and understand what's important, so we got to look at what's important in life and put things in the right perspective, and so that's what keeps us going.
Yeah, our upbringings were a little different. So compromise and acceptance.
What are some of your best tips for a successful marriage?
Somebody got to continue to work to keep that relationship together. And also, you have to prioritize everything that you do. And the reason I say it, because sometimes you might have to prioritize that day, that week, that month, to understand what is important in your life. So that's why one of the things is you have to prioritize your relationship, your family. And on top of that, you got to have the right perspective. Reason why I said, because you can buy a new car and you're elated, you're happy, and you're enthusiastic about that new car. But that car, one day, is going to turn old. You got to have the same perspective with that old car. You're happy and enthusiastic about what you had. So that's important.
Okay, old and car is what we're making this all about. But I agree. I understand. But I do want to just add this little sidebar. Our relationship, our marriage is quite different. I knew it would be like this going into it. However, I didn't realize how it would feel. I'm only with my husband 2 days out of 7. So not being home with him as often as a normal marriage would be, it's like almost every weekend is honeymoon time, or we don't even have enough time to argue or finish or argue. We kind of agree and move on, but that absence makes the heart stay fond. So hopefully it'll be more of a, i.e., more normal marriage where I see my husband day in and day out, to where I'm the new old car always.
Any other tips?
Communication, commitment, honesty, honoring your vows, putting your trust where you know it should be, having a strong relationship with the Lord, taking time to be in prayer, mostly communication, but to communicate about things that are important. It's the small things. And like, we're still kind of like feeling it out. And another tip that I think is listening to other couples. How did you get through it, or what helped you, or, couples that have 40 and 50 years of a happy marriage. I like talking to other persons.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. And the thing is, the enemy is out to kill and destroy. So I don't let the enemy friends come in the middle of our relationship, because that's his job, to kill, destroy, and separate families. And you got to be recognized for what is of God and what is of the enemy. So basically, you got to say to yourself, who am I serving today? And you got to recognize who you serving. Are you serving God, or are you serving the enemy? So those things are X'd out from your relationship. You will have a better relationship. Like I said earlier, someone has to continue to work. If one goes down, the other way I continue to work. But the battle is defeated easier when both of you are together, working towards the same cause. To keep the family together and to grow. So that's important. But as long as somebody's working, and there's a heartbeat and a pulse, you're okay. Amen. Amen.
This is my husband, David Jones.
This is my wife, Betty Jones.
We have been married for 38 years.
We've been together for 45 years, though. So 45 years, and it's been great.
Yes, it has been. What makes it great?
Well, probably is the way I started off in this relationship is when I proposed to her a few years ago. It was in Jackson, Mississippi. Our university was there for a Baptist Student Union retreat, and happened to be 25 of our friends that were gathered there with us that made that trip as well. And I proposed to her in front of 25 of our closest friends, and my gosh, she did say yes.
Yes, I did say yes.
Yeah.
But the main thing was, how did I know I was going to say yes? Well, in high school, my husband accepted a scholarship to go to school in Missouri. And so when he went to school in Missouri, I decided I wanted to go to school in Missouri also. So I left my parents' house and followed him to Missouri.
The reason I know that you were the one, she accepted that. She accepted the offer to come to Lincoln University and join me in our sporting career. So it was one of the best things that ever happened in our lives.
And as I was saying that he had a scholarship, and at the time I did not have a scholarship, but he did something so sweet. And I knew he was a keeper.
Yeah, I went into the athletic director, who was also the head basketball coach, and I had a portfolio of her basketball years, and she was all-state, all-star. And I presented that to him, and he looked at me and said, Jones, just because I know your character, I'm going to offer her a full 4-year ride to Lincoln University. So that was part of that package deal that came, and she played basketball, and I ran track and cross country for the university.
And it was a joyous time.
Yes, it sure was.
And during our 38 years of marriage, we've had several marvelous occasions, not just Valentine's Day, not just anniversaries, just in life general. But I would think one of my favorite occasions is when you have kids, you have to plan things with your kids and things. And so during our marriage, on our vacations, of course, we took our kids with us. But after our kids got grown and left the house, we finally got a chance just to go on a parents' vacation. So we took a week, just us two, in Florida, and it was wonderful.
And I tell any couples, no matter if you've been married for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, make time to spend that quality time to go on vacation, spend some quality time together, and each year will be sweeter and sweeter, better than the year before, as they say.
And in a marriage, of course, you're going to have differences, and you're going to have likes, and you're going to have things that are going to balance you out. But our differences are, one of them that sticks out more in our marriage is the fact that my husband, he likes to be organized. He likes things to go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or A to Z. Me, myself, I just go with the flow. I don't care if Z come first, 3 come first, but I get it done.
Yeah, but that's maybe the differences, but one of the things that makes us alike is have been together around each other for nearly 45 years, I could be sitting somewhere and be thinking something, and I can turn to her and say it, and she'd be thinking the same thing at the same time. So I guess in a way that would balance that relationship out, getting to know each other, and also getting to think like each other after all of these years as well.
And one of the things that helped keep our marriage together over the years, this is a tip for any marriage. Keep other people out your marriage. That includes parents, that includes siblings, that includes friends. Because once you say I do, you become one. So you don't need the other voices to affect your marriage.
You know, the other thing is, wanted to talk about the tips, but also to glue the whole any relationship together is, first of all, putting God in that marriage, having God first, having trust, and that trust and mutual respect for one another. And, you know, everything and some decisions and every decision need to be made as a couple and not individuals. So, and that includes finances as well. Now, what works in my house may not work in yours, but that's what keeps our relationship open. And some of those things you talk about and going back, and if you have date night and keeping those things fresh, some of those things you did when you were dating, continue to do those things. She still get excited when I open the door for her.
Okay. That's one of the things. Yeah. And another thing, just keep it fresh. It might be silly to some people, but it's not silly to you two. So just keep on doing the things that got you together when you were dating, the things that you like, that is. Keep on doing those same things. And those are the same things that keep you together year after year, year after year.
Now, we're going to close, and I'm going to work on the next 38 years.
I'm going to be there right with you.
All right.
Listen, you can never get enough of love. So Luther did a song that says never too much. Yeah, 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 yeah. Never, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Come on, listen. I can't fool myself, don't want nobody else to ever love me. You are my shining star, my guiding light, my love fantasy. There's not a minute, hour, day, or night that I don't love you. You're at the top of my list, cause I'm always thinking of you. I still remember in the days when I was scared to touch you, how I spent my day dreaming, planning how to say I love you. You must have known that I had feelings deep enough to swim in. That's when you opened up your heart and you told me to come in. Oh, my love. Hey. 1,000 kisses from you is never too much. Hey. And I just don't want to stop. Oh, my love. Yeah. 1,000,000 days in your arms is never too much. Hey. And I just don't want to stop. Come on, y'all ready to party tonight? Come on, let's take it back. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Come on, burst it. Woke up today, looked at your picture just to get me started. I called you up, but you weren't there, and I was broken hearted. Hung up the phone, can't be too late, the boss is so demanding. Opened the door up, and to my surprise, there you were standing. Who needs to go to work to hustle for another dollar? I'd rather be with you, cause you make my heart scream and holler. Love is a gamble, and I'm so glad that I am winning. We've come a long way, and yet this is only the beginning. Oh, my love. Y'all doing all right? 1,000 kisses from you is never too much. And I just don't wanna stop. Oh, my love. 1,000 kisses from you is never. And I just don't wanna stop. Oh, my love. A million days in your arms is never. And I just don't wanna stop. Oh, my love. Yeah. 1,000 kisses from you is never too much. Yeah. And I just don't wanna stop. Oh, my love. Y'all doing all right? It's something amazing about that kind of love. Can we take it back for a minute, y'all? Love has truly been good to me. Not even one sad day or minute have I had since you come my way. I hope you know I'd gladly go anywhere you take me. It's so amazing to be loved. I'd follow you to the moon and the sky above. I'd go. I've got to tell you how you thrill me. I'm happy as I can be. You have come and it's changed my whole world. Bye-bye, sadness. Hello, mellow. Anywhere you take me, it's so amazing to be loved. I'd follow you to the moon and the sky above. I'd go, and it's so amazing. I could stay forever, here in love and only you never, 'cause we've got amazing love. Truly, it's amazing. I could stay forever, here in love and only you never, 'cause we've got amazing love. Ooh, so amazing, and I've been waiting for a love like yours. It's so amazing to be loved. I'd follow you to the moon and the sky above. Yeah. It's so amazing to be loved. I'd follow you to the moon and the sky above. It's so amazing to be loved. I'd follow you to the moon and the sky above. It's so amazing to be loved. I'd follow you to the moon and the sky above. It's so amazing to be loved. I'd follow you to. Ain't nothing like a a lonely house. So Luther had a story. A chair is still a chair, even when there's no one sitting there. But a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home when the two of us are far apart and one of us has a broken heart. Yeah. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hello, bye-bye, baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A room is still a room, even when there's nothing there but gloom. But a room is not a house, and a house is not a home when the two of us are far apart and one of us has a broken heart. Now and then I call your name, and suddenly your face appears. But it's just a crazy game, and when it ends in tears. Pretty little darling, have a heart. Yeah, baby, don't let one mistake keep us apart. I was wrong and I know it, forgive me. I am not meant to live alone. Turn this house into a home when I climb the stairs. And turn the key, oh please be there, saying that you're still in love with me. Yeah, I am not meant to live alone. Turn this house into a home when climb the stairs and turn the key, oh please be there, saying that you're still in love. I said still in love, yeah, still in love with Are you gonna be in love with me? I want you, I need you to be, yeah, yeah, still in love with me, yeah. Are you gonna be in love with me? It's driving driving me crazy to think that my baby wouldn't be still in love with me, yeah. Are you gonna be, say you're gonna be, are you gonna be, say you're gonna be, are you gonna be, well, yeah, still in love with me, yeah. Are you gonna be, say that you're gonna be, still in love with me, yeah, with me, oh, with me, oh, still in love with me, yeah. Y'all doing all right? Luther said one night, if only for one night. Let me hold you tight, if only for one night. Let me keep you near to ease away the fear. It would be so nice if only for one night. And I won't tell a soul, no one has to know. If you want to be totally discreet, I'll be at your side, if only for one night. Yeah, 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 yeah. If only for one night. Your eyes say things I'll never hear from you, and my knees are shaking too. But I'm willing to go through. I must be crazy standing in this space, and I'm feeling no disgrace for asking. Let me hold you tight, if only for one night. Let me keep you near to ease away the fear. It would be so nice if only for one night. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If only for one night. Come on. I tell you what I need is one night. Yeah, 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 yeah. All I need is one of your love, of your love, of your love, of your love. I'm asking, let me take you home and keep you safe and warm to the early dawn, warms up to the sun. It would be so nice if only for one night. Yeah, 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 yeah. If only for one night. Yeah, 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 baby. If only for one night. night, yeah, baby. If only for one night, said it would be alright, yeah, yeah. If only for one night. My name is Tamba Giles. I want to thank y'all so much for being a part of this show. Thank you, Salisbury Church of Maryland, First Church of Salisbury, Maryland. Thank you for your ministry for inviting me for this event. So we're going to close out with a little bit of gospel and a little bit of jazz. Them that's got shall get. Them that's not shall lose. For the Bible says, and it's still good news. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. Woo, that's got his own. That's got his own. That's got his own. And you can check me out at tambalive.com. That's TAMBALIVE.com. Listen, yes, the strong get more while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't ever make the grave. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own. That's got his own. Hey. Money, you've got lots of friends. They are crowded around your door. Oh, but when you've gone and you've spent it in, listen, those folks won't ever come around no more. Empty pockets don't ever make the grade. Yes, the strong get more while the weak ones fade. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. Hey, that's got his own. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. Thank you again. You can check me out at tambalive.com. Hope to see you soon. Take care and thank you.